Whoa, wait, really good.
Okay, you're running good.
Yep.
Plan. In the United States Department of Justice is domestic criminal enforcement against corporate cartels, flea marketing, justice, advantage cartels, market competition is high and stable. Action 25. No alcoholic confiscating ground in most industries, low concentration remain unchanged, winning 222, highly concentrated industries, lower 8%, 40% of firms, hot takers, and CR4, stability makes it difficult to argue industries become more concentrated, share concentration remain consistent over the 20 year span, competitive markets are predominant, and antitrust enforcement is still strong. Under Trump, Greenfield 25, Republican leaders are acting and talking about a new leadership, focused on antitrust enforcement, agency kept in place, Richard Collins, HSF Farm, yes, legal law, that harmonized antitrust, the Republican Party, label, and American First, antitrust, the FTC will enforce antitrust against every industry, advocating for interventions and leading just praised by era antitrust fans, given an agenda, and plea bargaining carbonization here in cities. Plea agreements resolve criminal exposure, foster public confidence, and the victims of website predatory process. Rewards early cooperation, antitrust defense, or looking for security, corporate executives, fully cooperate early customers on uncertainty that corporations put a trouble behind it, early cooperation, hastens investigation leads to substances, prosecution should drop for years, longer prosecution is related to less term effect, reasons free to investigate other cartels, prosecution leads to fair detection, resulting in self-complaint, on the first face guilty, others to the door, not to lead to detection of unidentified cartels or different products or services, and studies unambiguously pre-deterrence offenses to multiple defendants for a team. Increased info also cost reduction sentences because plea bargaining allows the based on testimonies to make harsher offers. Acceptable bargaining unambiguously deterrents crime because the antitrust of all more than a single firm are not a model. For example, insight and other pre-trial agreements fail. Homework 2. Plea agreements show decrease stock pre-trial consequences not severe. Companies continue business as usual. Deterrents only achieve when punishment threatens profits or contracts. Agreements not stigmatizing enough to hit income compare companies not pled guilty. With sentencing agreements, companies build out engagement in one violation. And Europe approves. Marv 23. Gap between EC and US considering crimes are covered by criminal penalties. Mild penalties led to significant repeat offenders who are eliminated in the US. And trials fail. They lack incentives and convictability. We're in all 6. Conviction rates in criminal antitrust trials now half as for duty pleaded guilty. Defendants given resources, governments confronted by well-financed events, civil perjurers, and conceptualized someone understand schemes. The drinking have built defense, antitrust defense are sympathetic, defense well educated and pillars the community, and growth is high even considering tariffs. Water 1016. GDP stronger than expected with tariffs data for the third quarter indicate growth accelerated close to 4%. Inflation due to tariffs effects fit into company months, what matters inflation outside of tariffs estimates by FedSef indicate that this is on path for 2%. And cartels crush growth, price hikes, and regressive effects on labor. ICAN and all 21 cost high. Many studies estimate overcharge after cartel overcharging were large from 15 to 50% using overcharging cartels harm the economy reach 4% of GDP market power. That's correlated reduction in income and negative doesn't assume spillover effects. Moreover, to review, we propose an approach to quantify cost of cartels and companies spillover difference outside of cartels costs underestimated. Collusion generates misallocation findings that challenge wisdom that causes distortion may below elasticities. Substitution generates distortion and that cascades through umbrella effects on great innovation, literature, consensus, criticity. Cartels are widely viewed as inefficient, inclusive economics, and price competitive markets. These are productivity, low prices, innovation. Suppliers motivated to innovate while decreasing cost, monopolies, or profit decrease total welfare. Cartels have rich confidence in the market. This overcharge generates a durable loss. These extend with their umbrella effects where firms are shorter buyers, and growth is key to outrun natural planetary disasters. Caps numerous existential hazards. Exhibit 25. Environmentalists advocate economic stagnation, long-term survival, and then not shrinking footprint. Hazards capable of inflicting planet-scale devastation, counting on future tech to avert natural existential threats from volcano, tectonic drift, ice age, ocean current disruption, solar flares, black hole, Milky Way, collision, and technological capacity to terraform significantly reduce catastrophe. Artificial worlds contain fine-tuned environment, offer long-term future to Earth and increase well-being. Products can be automated, expanded exponentially, not intervention zoom, but limited to ensure futures to exponential. Increase in wealth of society stagnates and remains stuck in high catastrophic risk. Extinction would be inevitable. And growth healthcare power war, chapter 25, economic, social, and international conflict, World War II, influence, depression, interdependence by parts of prospects, security, stabilizing effects, lead prospects, despite competition, escalated tension, lab experiments, study causal relationship. China and the US escalate significantly higher slow down the growth, major parts engage when environmental prospects decline empirical states suggest slow goods are robust predictors of war based on historical reasons, negative expectation for conflict, and nuke war causes extinction. Gale 25. Nuclear strike lofts to the stratosphere, no photosynthesis, heat adaptation, which will kill the entire population over hours. New model predicts it can't be rained out, eventually dark. For months, food will never grow by the time the sun comes back, everyone's dead. And competition is key to private sector cybersecurity innovation. Dwan 19. Firms in competitive markets use security to gain advantage over competitors. Best way to flesh out issues in competitive pressure devices. Warranty standards, avoiding these require rigorous testing. Competitive market is essential. And private sector innovation undergirds effective defense. Fellow strategy. Private sector integral to cyber operates integral. Operates cyberspace high responsibility to use best integral role and scalable reality that imposes application to innovate in cyber areas. External defense happens only in coordination with the US NATO partnership, addresses more effectively single organization, and cyber attacks and security interlinked system act in 20. Use of Orluso is exaggerated by cyber vulnerabilities. Espionage mistaken for attack malware, which ID can accidentally spread into nuclear system. Cyber attack is divide time for counterforce and shut down early warning state, interrupt and biggest indicators in the worst light of one of its. Malfunction attribute failure to cyber attack states to remove pauser, particularly leading to invert use, field commander order use the use, network supporting dual user are connected, and escalation risk is increasing. AI and an officer will discarding deform. AI enabled cyber accelerate finding vulnerabilities around check on folder. There's no code of conduct attacks as a dangerous new phase, and extinction outweighs green 122. Rights only make sense in the community, so as a humanity collective agent that its ends are mature, it's especially important. If therefore extinction is bad doing, it means acting to a maximum that benefits humanity. If extinct humanity promoting actions are thwarted, such a planner would try not to legislate extinction cause extinction would undermine itself. It has lost its reason to exist. Goals to become meaningless if you're the last. In alternatives cause transition wars. Hence, 21. Disbanding capitalism requires control institution through election or removing officials. A movement would have to control military, which others end. Revolution, there would be counter-revolution by foreign leaders in other countries. Once the Philippines 74 million voted Trump, they would have to provide for a population reduced emission contemporary. Only can find success to growth. The anti-capitalist counter movement grows substantially. Anti-capitalist sentiment reconceptualized as regulated capitalism, providing free nuclear, and it goes nuclear mode. 18. It would be better to preserve a falling capitalist regime than to allow nuclear weapons into the hand of a military rearguard or counter-revolutionary organization, probably institution rather than allowing subjects, terror, dictators, for attention. While hastening nuclear combination leads to annihilation. And growth is sustainable. Degrowth bad science with evade. No economistic actionality implies industry must not increase using too much phosphorus to see less, but keep right decoupling relies on passive forecast future fallacy. Carbon emission countries that decouple is absent trade. Just on a global scale, emissions already peak. Growth contagion. Decoupling sufficient magnitude not evident until already safe. Well, could research each absurd chances scientifically incoherent recycle wastewater use a ton obscure waste substitution and growth solves adaptation. Brown 24 strong relationship between GDP and roots one of being competent. Return and natural disasters 50 times higher for low productivity energy while reaches carbons high productivity economies. Brown cut at high productivity economies.
Good. Extinction outweighs why?
Grunwald says that improvement is possible, but only if we stay alive.
Improvement of what?
Lives.
Okay. Why does that mean extinction before everything else?
Because anything else that's bad about the current world can be resolved if we stay alive.
Okay.
If we die.
The Grunwald evidence talks about, I heard the words legislating extinction should not legislate extinction in context of states. Why would the neg be legislating extinction?
Act omission distinction.
What's that?
It says that, actually it doesn't rely on an act omission distinction because the AF is a SQUO and the neg advocates for like moving away from the SQUO, so it has to be something that legislates.
Okay,
like
why does that mean the judges are responsible for extinction happening?
If they vote neg, they're advocating an alternative world. If we win that the alternative world means it results in extinction, they foresee that as a possibility, so they intend.
Okay, what's the internal link to growth?
There's a couple.
What
The large internal is cartel. There's reasons why cartels are bad.
Okay,
prices,
so why are cartels bad for growth is what I mean.
Prices, innovation, deadweight loss.
How does growth solve natural disasters?
That's Zimit. We can innovate.
Innovate? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little more about that component. Why is degrowth bad science?
Yeah, we've given evidence of 25 countries. Their growth has increased, but emissions have decreased.
How have they been able to do this?
It accounts for trade, so you're going to say outsourcing and it'll be wrong.
Well, I'm asking a different question. I'm asking how have
green
countries
tech.
been able to reduce it?
Green tech, probably.
How have they gotten green tech?
What do you mean?
Like what evidence says green tech possible? Or like that
well,
it
also
will happen?
recycling.
Recycling? Why does recycling innovation happen?
Well, the evidence says if there's a specific resource, they could just substitute it for something else, or they could just use less of it.
Okay. Cyber escalation, what's your scenario?
Private sector innovates, tech is used by the government.
Private sector
otherwise-
TY.
Yeah, that's the Pell evidence. Quote, private sector integral to cyber, owns and operates cyberspace. They have an integral role to innovate in the cyber area.
Okay, what's the internal link to innovating in the cyber area?
Competition.
Competition?
Yeah,
Why
Dwan
is
says,
competition
quote,
good for cyber?
quote, best way to flush out issues is competitive pressure.
Okay, why do cyber attacks escalate?
Cyber attacks, miscalc, AI, and like probing.
Okay, why? Those are words. I want sentences.
Okay, AI enables cyber, accelerate finding vulnerabilities. Iran,
Okay.
China, gone bolder.
Okay. I want to talk a little more about the uniqueness, warrants for econ. Good now.
GDP's high.
GDP high.
Inflation's low.
Okay, inflation low. Got it. Plan. What plea bargains to defend?
Plea bargains for corporate informants.
Corporate. The order is going to be 5 off-case positions, and then the case. It's going to be the framing contention, or actually, it's just a case because they didn't separate it.
5 in case.
Yes. See, I remember when you were young, you never could extend the stand. I guess that's because you were in 8th grade. Let me send or speech drop, what am I saying? Okay. Alright, I sent the doc. Okay, 5 off the case. The affirmative must spend all plea bargains. Plea bargaining is a non-count form of plea bargain. Britannica, no date. Plea bargaining now. Non-count, refer. Nouns refer to the whole category, never subsets. G-U-N-D. Non-count nouns refer to a whole category made up of individual parts. They do not have a plural form. Criminal justice system is the combination of all processes. Collins, no date. The combination of courts and legal processes that deal with crime. Vote neg for limits and ground. They can defend plea bargaining for individual situations. Out of millions of cases yearly, which open the floodgates for infinite tiny asks, screen prep their way, competing in terms on topicality necessary to set norms and debate about the worlds of the topic. Reasonability is an arbitrary excuse for some part debating. Next off. The United States Department of Justice domestic criminal enforcement against corporate cartels, except for the fishing industry. Plea bargaining is just. Cartels in the fishing industry prevent overfishing. Belgium 19. A fishing cartel where firm compete over property, case for fisheries. Cartels sole control of fishing grounds, reduce efficiency, reduce production. Dutch agreement, reduce fishing catch, fish levels, 16%, benefits are long-term, more sustainable fish stock, continue to be consumable, acute to future generations, extinction, crib 19, all of their fishing, collapse of wild fisheries, loss of fisheries, increased tension between nations, can lead to fish wars, food system, can break down regionally, and then globally lead to war, just 50, nukes end civilization in winter, chemical weapons, put an accular food insecurity driver in war between America and Russia. They did not specify exceptions, stick them with all corporate cartels, since we just asked would they defend in cross-ex, and they said that they defended it. Otherwise, the winner can only ever decide by saying there's an exception. The plan is already a subset. Next off. The United States has substantially increased the deployment of prize systems for cybersecurity vulnerabilities, including but not limited to AI automated detection, solve cyber, node turns, Finland. 25. In 2020, U.S. sponsored MD federal prize competition in 2024-27 to empower innovation needs to use all tools, competitions, advance innovation history, generated novel insights, offered award packages, mentorship facilities, opportunities to pitch. Competitors have bipartisan support. They resulted in breakthrough cyber grant challenge, advanced automated vulnerability, discovery and patching. Cyber innovators challenge focused on advanced cybersecurity capabilities. Rarely failures. Prize competitions remain critical budget time when tensions prevent collaboration, competitions, underutilized imperative to prioritize power policy mechanisms. That solves their threshold for quote faster cyber response is solving quote developers lacking incentives to respond to vulnerabilities by fiating it. What is C120? Insert purple. Next off. The United States Congress ought to unanimously announce intent to rapidly impeach and remove any president and his administration, pass his policy to ban plea bargaining for antitrust on grounds that the ban is a high crime. The 47th president of the United States should ban plea bargaining for antitrust cases. The Counterplan competes and solves after Trump is removed for banning the plan. Vance becomes president and unbans it in fear of his own impeachment. We're at 25. Trump has a cult that believes anything and supports him, even if he does insane things. When Trump goes, the cult won't have direction. Vance doesn't have personality like a weasel. Trump is steamrolling opposition, ignoring the Constitution that his competitors of law. Vance would try, but doesn't have charisma. Opposition would coalesce effectively, and we'd be likely to continue being a democracy. Under Trump causes extinction, strengthening sacred solves. Family 24. Destabilization, the biggest setback for great power conflict AI, virus and climate disruption in the U.S. The pattern of democracies that descended into authoritarian regimes, destabilization likely. Consequence make it an X factor. Trajectory of democratic norms is unsustainable. High levels of dysfunction will yield destabilization, which would manifest as an authoritarian regime. Consequences are immense, including for suffering, X-verse AI, virus and climate. The endpoint is destabilization. Is must be immediate. Merriam-Webster no date. Is present tense of B. That means it must be true at the time of speaking. Merriam-Webster no date. Present tense terms of a verb is true at the time of speaking, habitual always and necessarily true. Function only is best, germanus is arbitrary, but not proposed in their favor. Voting the absence thus quo, which estimates link uniqueness for whatever objections we do generate. Textual models of scrambling, which that all neg offense. Textual competition makes no sense because the one area we have in advantages by rearranging our words. If the counterpoint is opportunity cost, it should be competitive. Next one. Recession now, Zon 1024. Workers miss paychecks, Americans lose food assistance. Hiring slowdown, stokes recession fear, shutdown, chills economic activity each week, reduce growth by 0.1%. Now, no econ impact. Their evidence cites World War II, which they are wrong about. Ferguson 6. The most familiar chain links to depression World War II that leaves much out. Germany started war after it recovered, not all effects were taken over, or start wars and revolution is discernible. Wars came after growth, and some severe crises were not followed by wars. Their evidence is about civil wars. Missing reason that happens here, January 6th thumps, and all causes like polarization overwhelmed. Insert gray because it proves that they minimized it. There's no diversionary war. Wolford 25. In Moore's word is investment studies find no consensus diversion wars, less functional electoral politics and democracies, and personal costs and non-democratic changes. Losing office is less painful and diversion incentives too obvious to reap rewards. Measures incentive econ troubles. Sampling show better prospects in non-dem countries. Rarest when conventional wisdom expects them. No cyber impact. Their impact is about monoculture, which their evidence says happens because of 5G. And nothing about the SCO solves that concentration either. What is C120? We read purple after basis ends. Monoculture unavoidable in connected devices comport with 5G development by private consortium to render all mobile devices vulnerable. Cyber attacks do not escalate. Empirics and Wargames prove they are de-escalatory. Valentino 25. In practice, cyber exploitation is where such is de-escalatory because other options for sex that would cause destruction tech rarely sufficient for escalation have ample empirical evidence. Escalation is limited in cyber exchanges, remain limited in scope. Data analysis just response patterns between US, Russia, Iran, China, and NOCO does not denote escalation. Effects usually met with retail. Disruption is not tit for tat. Escalatory ladder war game demonstrated escalation. The exception regardless of the situation. Escalation is not the response. Fear does not motivate overreaction. Now, the rest of their scenarios rely on innovation. It's low now. PS editors and January 25. U.S. holds global leadership, military superiority, energy security, soft power, and cloud's position at the frontier of innovation. Trump dismantling technological dominance, according to Professor in economics at Cambridge, saying watch Trump is a fool's errand. From economic nationalists, upshot is unmistakable. Trump fatally weakening America's innovation economy. History suits America's and China's AI capabilities likely to catch up, even surpass the U.S. Professor at London Business School points out insights relating to AI, climate change, health, inequality, geopolitics benefit all of humankind must step up. Do not commit a worse time. Great monopolies establish research laboratories to maintain edge. World War II. Develop post-war growth of clusters, catalyzed agglomeration, pivoted towards electronics, with China moving from fast follower to innovation leader in its own right. Trump behavior individual from paid Chinese agent. Cartelization is good for innovation. RF is theoretical and empirical. Of every cartel case ever, postdates theirs by years. It provides extra funds to fund breakthrough tech, increases confidence in profitability, and prevents duplicate R&D. The app lacks empirical data in the U.S. Kang 25. Data on all known cartel cases covered in the U.S. from 1975 through 2016 find positive relationships between cartels and innovation inclusion, increased patent filings by 28.3%, increased quality patents by 20%, R&D by 16.4%, expanded unique technology when broke up, intensely reverberated. The impacts of cartels beyond infiltrating market prices, extra resources, colluding firms gain, provide capital to invest in innovative activities, positive expectations regarding future profitability, novel projects developed slowly, firms developing new technology likely to fail, theoretical arguments regarding whether competition incentivizes business to innovate are well-founded but not conclusive. Trump argues competition lowers prices, restricts firms' ability to innovate firms. A few resources 979 shows competition reduces firms' incentives. First, stopping competition enables firms to invest more confidently in R&D. Second one, fewer firms compete. Firms expect higher average returns, provides additional incentives. Third, stopping competition prevent duplicate R&D investment, reduce preemption. Empirical studies support the view. China tech dominance enables aggression and exacerbates security dilemmas. Maintaining first mover advantage is key. Johnson 23. Mistrust of securitization of 5G early 2010s, China's cyber sovereignty, establishing tech champs against U.S. has reduced dependency, signaled acceleration, intelligenceation to prepare for war against the U.S. NSS promoted innovation-based, promote credibility gaps, while shared technology, IP entities transferred to Chinese military to support nationalist objectives, stated AI, cloud, storage, cyberspace, quantum, liveliest areas, solidify self-image, heightened perception. Officer for Air Force warned U.S. falling behind, must wake up fast. Only thing worse than fearing AI is not having strategic competition. Future where adversaries have AI-enabled force, we do not. That perception is heightened when offense defense balance perceived to narrow. Goal to by 2030, augment military power asymmetry, and enhance Chinese power. Psychologists note actors underestimate ambiguity, next time which threaten others. Improvements attack enables conventional weapons to assume strategic missions, complicate offensive defensive ability, bear balance, to use AI, increase dangers of spirals, achieve first mover advantage against uncertainty, increasing risk of nuclear use. Nice. I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, 1 second. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, impeachment, Counterplan, what are the mandates?
The mandates is what has to. The first is that Congress announces that banning plea bargaining for antitrust is a high crime that constitutes impeachment.
Okay.
The next mandate is that Trump bans it.
Okay, are they at the same time?
Are they at the same time? The first one happens, then the second one happens. Because
Okay.
it would make no sense for them to be at the same time.
Okay,
It wouldn't be
Sequence is
indivisible
Trump
offense.
does this.
What'd you
The
say?
Counterplan announces intent.
I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
Oh, okay, so it's sequences. The first part says it announces intent. Why would Congress follow through?
Because Congress would announce that it is a high crime to ban it. Our argument is that we are saying, in some sense, the same way you're mindset fiating that people do plea bargains or the government continues to do so, we're saying Congress changes their mind to believe that's an impeachable offense. We think we get to fiat government actors.
Okay.
Because we fiated Trump too.
Sure. Veljanovsky, the fishing pick. Why is cartels specifically a fishing pick?
Because alternatively, firms compete over it. Or actually, the argument is it's an empirical example of when the Netherlands had fishing cartels. It says that competition among firms is worse because it causes companies wanting to get more fish, which causes fish shortages.
Wait, the scenario for fish shortages and conflict is the U.S. and other countries.
What?
Why does that apply?
The U.S. and other countries, what are you saying?
Well, the scenario for escalation in Crib is about U.S.
It
fighting
also
for
says
fish.
war between America and Russia. It says
Well, yeah, that's
our
other
argument is that
countries.
fishing would be constrained by the counterplan.
Okay.
Because the counterplan allows cartelization in fishing.
Sure. Didn't read
No.
status,
Of what?
everything,
Conditional.
all.
Yeah.
Okay. This innovation stuff. What's the implication of China winning?
Implication of China winning, that Chinese first mover advantage in key technologies upends strategic stability. Johnson says that China plans to integrate this technology into their military, that things like AI and 5G weaponization causes perception on both sides, which means there's an incentive to escalate by either party who fears falling behind.
Okay. Econ. You re-highlighted Zhang, the second part about Civil War. Zhang also mentions.
You didn't read Zhang.
What?
Zhang? The card we re-highlighted.
Jiang.
What?
Jiang.
Oh, Jiang. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
thought
is the
you said
rehighlight
Jiang.
of Jiang.
Yeah.
Okay. The first part is about international conflicts. Why does this?
Yeah, but the parts you're highlighting that are like slow growth as a predictor, that part is about civil conflicts that you highlighted in the last half.
What's the warrant for no diversionary war?
No diversionary war, it's an empirical analysis. Second is that diversionary war is always worse because leaders know that that increases danger of not being reelected because it makes them unpopular because conflicts are scary. Also, countries won't go to war, they don't think they win.
Starting. Okay, 33 seconds. I'll send it down. Okay, it's
Let me see. What's the order?
Case T cyber counterplay. Case
Cool.
T cyber counterplay.
Sorry, I got distracted by you dropping the laptop. Case T,
Cyber counterplay.
cyber counterplan,
Fish counterplay.
fish counterplan,
Impeachment.
impeachment. Let me get the doc. Impeachment, counterplan, and the last. There's cards, right?
Hmm?
I'm looking. Um, 4 minutes, let me see. Okay. I'm good to go.
Plea bargaining is good. It deters cartels that otherwise prevent growth. Growth solves adaptation to climate through forecasting, drought resistant crops and infrastructure. Only half the card is about innovation. The rest they do not answer. It's 50 economies are 50 times better. That's brown. I'll do the unique debate here. Our lauder evidence is much better. It says that it's overall high. They've cited they've cherry picked evidence, and it's from the Fed. We're already past tipping points, which makes the after our die 2024. Reversal tipping points already being passed. Glacier trees. Reinforced deserts, ecosystem, CIs, feedbacks increase. Permafrost 51 times all GHG self-sustaining, not begun. Even after no more GHG continue until all carbon is released. Econ proper. Yes, diversionary war. They gives World War II as an example. It's their F says it's not the largest factor, but it was still a factor. Only the second part of Jiang is about civil war. The first part is about China and the U.S. Wolfer doesn't assume geopolitics. There's no one to divert. There's no one to divert against. Doesn't assume populism and Trump. Smaller targets still escalate, and I think they can win. Wolfer doesn't count for miscalc either. Cyber, I'll concede there's no impact. Cartels bad. Cartels crush growth. One is efficiency. Don't lost in supply restrictions. Campaign through supply chains. That's Martinez. Two is spending. Higher prices. Number discretionary spending. Crushing demand. Three is productivity. Competition. Insights. Productivity gains. And technological progress. Exclusion removes. That's Agion. They've only answered the innovation portions. Air Af, we cite embarrassing no link. Their evidence says that large parts of key to innovation. We don't prevent mergers. Only cartels. There's a distinct cartels power of innovation. They remove incentives to innovate. China, no impact. Innovation is unquantifiable. Then by all costs, like immigration, key. Counterintuitive, we get substance that's one or more. Simon to two that refer to one or more. Imagine dinner party. The food is not mean all food. If that gets asked, the aliens who know governments all or nothing. Then phrase cloning. Prefer one is research. Encourages specific case next. They are limit because there's no new assholes. Topic N. Two is pigs. They can specify sectors and departments which flips limits on every app in their cases. It's a big under their insured. Counterintuitive only our app flips limits. First, precision matters. Three is functional limits. Counterplans a case check. Alternative details. Now, abolition university applied deterrents, but we lack universal deficits. They get spillover. Our specific engagement in core distance like UCD that requires universality. It means within KC9 it does not require something continuous and completely incontinuous inside substance that for mass nouns. The K25 mass nouns represent the same, but even when we break it up, circles a mass noun. So sugar when you break it up, it's intuitively wrong. Furniture is a mass uncountable noun because you cannot say one furniture or two furniture, but you can have subsets of it like Netflix furniture. CGS can have subsets, whereas proves US is a subset of the criminal justice system cyber. According to both, they can't solve econ, they only solve the second scenario, which we consider there's no defense. Fish. Conditionality is better for time and stress cube because they can kick out of it just solves the condition of every term. Early theory, non-condition theory, you can kick. Can't solve any BAM causes umbrella effects is available through wider economy. That's correct. Certainty. Other companies anticipate carve-outs. Certainty is key. That's the Hammond evidence. It looks arbitrary. There's no link. Philanowski is about common industries like fishing, but concludes productivity losses are widespread. Pigs are voter. They steal the AF. Perm to the counterplan. Use plantings and vacuum. It's the only non-objective standard. Positional. Demolished under positional. Competition, which is arbitrary. Impeachment. There's no impact on Modlovich. 25 years democracy is a compartmentalization. The Republican majority can still check. Yes, Gates, shared senators, spend a considerable set of prize. Times influence primary, suffer embarrassing defeat, ramp two. Bureaucracy face red block states. You can use their 30 chance allows diversity of news, makes it difficult to influence media structure, all foundations, students, attacking to women. Not realize. Counterplan flaw as Congress, then Trump, and Maca loyalists. Whatever do it. Perm plan and threat Trump. Perm plan and remove Trump. Interpretation, counter associate. Counterplan supposed to actually function competitive and predation text cannot change the order of words. The key to domain is upgrade and objectivity by preventing cheap shots and block recycling. No offensive irreparable side bias and it's illogical to vote on non-intrusive cost. Go back to the fishing stuff. Crossfly everything on case about cartels. Extend the second piece of evidence. It does their evidence doesn't assume spillover effects. That is crow. It only assumes in singular scenarios, and they haven't answered every other one. Impeachment, counterplan. Even if they win, functional on his best, the perm is neither technically intrinsic nor functionally intrinsic because threatening him is a mandate of the counterplan. That's fine.
Okay. 4 minutes. Starting now. What were the standards for function and text?
It's in the doc, I think.
Oh, okay. Voting issues were picks bad, condo bad. That's it. Is that it, Jason?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Text and functions were germanus, afghan, objectivity.
counterplan, the phishing counterplan, cyber counterplan T case. Good. Judges.
I'm good.
Concede.
Sorry. So sorry. Any new cards?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, you just stopped me at a great time. Sorry, I have to save the doc because I didn't think I was sending it. My bad. Okay. 2 more and then finals. Pretty sure I called it final, lowercase, but that was an accident. This is the final debate of the topic. Cool. Card set. Is anyone not good? Are you good, Brit?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, let me
Good.
Okay.
Concede no impact to Trump, that doesn't matter. Concede the perm, it's a test of competition, not an advocacy. Now, the phishing counterplan conditionality is good on this topic because the applicant status quo. 1, neg flex. It's necessary to read multiple off and have uniqueness for our arguments. Sticking us with one disad out of the 1 and C is the worst thing they could do. We need counterplans in order to get uniqueness for our offense, otherwise the neg always loses to not having link uniqueness. 2, neg innovation. Risk-averse neg teams are afraid of dispo because it lets the 1AR pick the perfect 2NR that we are the perfect 2NR for them, which we are least prepared to go for, which means that it encourages neg teams to never break new things. 3, no offense. Subpoint A, smart 1AR solves, proven by how they had 30 seconds because they kicked advantages LMAO. Subpoint B is that things can be cross-applied off of flows, so you can only read so many counterplans because they only compete off of a certain number of things. Magnified how there's only one verb in the resolution for us to compete off of, and there's no actor because there's no plan, which means that it limits the offense. Now, dispo fails because letting the app pick the tuner is the worst thing for debate because it means that the neg can never try new things, and that means that every debate becomes the court clog app versus, or every debate just becomes the app versus the midterms disad because that's what neg teams want to go for. Dispo doesn't solve, it's arbitrary, undefined, which means that different teams define it differently. Strat skew is inevitable from different positions like T, which are NIVs, and time skew can be solved by more efficiency. Now, not going for the phishing counterplan, concede the impact defense and that it can't solve. They didn't straight turn this, but if they did, we'll straight turn it on the case. First, picks voting issue, reject the argument, not the team, drop the bidder, not in the 1AR, doesn't get to be in the 2AR, don't default that way, to preserve substance, which is important because they said it on topicality, and if they didn't say it on topicality because I misflowed, then it still matters because frivolous theory crowds out substance debate, and this is the last debate on the topic, so we should talk about the 1AC, cyber counterplan, not going for it, perm, test of competition, they kicked the advantage, T, concede their topical, they did not make an RBI, now case. Okay. 1AR 1 on the case is efficiency. It doesn't matter because Martinez was not read in the 1AC. If you control F this card, you will find that they took it out, which means LMAO, they lose this argument. 1AR 2 is spending and discretionary spending. Spending is false. We link turn this. They drop the companies are risk averse, which means that they are afraid of creating innovations if they think that there is possibility of duplicate innovations. The 1AR was good at explaining what cartels might be bad for, but little explanation of what a cartel is. Cartels are not the same as mergers. Yes, we agree. Cartels are hidden agreements between companies to not compete with each other, to tell each other what innovations they're working on. That is good because Kang says that that encourages spending in specific areas where there is not repeat innovations, which hinders innovation by upwards of 20%, dropped from the Kang evidence. They drop duplicate innovations, destroy it because companies don't know. 1AR 3 is productivity. Productivity is low. 1, risk aversion. That's the argument we just explained above. 2 is empirics. The ITIN evidence that they cite here is not about the US. We will do that work here. ITIN is citing developing countries and data from Mexico and South Africa. ITIN et al. 21. Ibadi et al. 2017 extends its estimations to 20 developing economies. They hurt more the poorest, as shown using Mexican data. There's also evidence that prices in sub-Saharan Africa are higher than in other developing regions, controlling for income and other factors. The 2AR will say this is a new argument, so Sterling doesn't get it. And that will be wrong, because we said in the tag of our card, only our ev was about the US, which means that this is a logical extrapolation, because we're just showing you what their evidence is actually about. Now, only answering innovation portions is irrelevant. Innovation is key to our impact, which we'll extend later. It doesn't matter if it's key to theirs, because remember cross-X. Innovation is a side constraint on growth, because it does not matter if there's no economic activity, if there's no valuable innovation out of it, which also hijacks the climate impact, which we're going to answer a little later. Mergers is not our argument. It's about cartels exclusively. I'm almost certain that they skipped the stuff about Crow, but resource allocation only goes our way because it generates certainty that innovations will be exclusive to the company that makes them. Now, answering the Crow evidence here, it's only advocating cartel regulation in Australia. Crow 16 yellow. The resulting theory offers the principal foundation for the current framework of cartel regulation in Australia. This is not about the US, only our evidence is about the US. Now, yes, impact to China. One, they have no card. We have a card from PhDs that says that it exacerbates security dilemmas between China and the US because the US is perceived as falling behind, which causes first strike. Two is that they drop the fog of war is magnified by 5G technologies and AI being integrated in China's military. They drop China as a revisionist power, which means if they have a tech advantage, they will attack us. Unquantifiable is zero when they drop the scope of our link turn offense because it means only we have a strong external impact at the end of the debate. Now, if we win our case turn, their entire app is backwards, which makes everything it tries to make better worse. All their impacts rely on this. So when productivity and innovation are better in the world with neg means all of their impacts happen. Our link turn outweighs their link. There are two additional framing issues to remember when you're deciding this debate. One, uniqueness controls the direction of the link. If we are correct that innovation is hosed now, then it's try or die to avoid our impending impact. Whatever impact events they have is useless because they impacted innovation in the one you see as key to climate change. Regardless of their climate impact, you know innovation is necessary to create things that they talked about in the first cross-sex. Two, quantitative data outweighs. Our Kang evidence is both far more recent than their evidence and it's data on all known cartel cases discovered in the US from 1975 through 2016, and quote, their evidence is limited in scope to other countries, which clearly cuts our way. Now, the last thing that you need to remember is they drop uniqueness. Innovation is low now. One, China is catching up too quick. Trump's economic policies are destroying US innovation economy. Two, cartelization is key. Drop that it's necessary for large-scale resources, which is our uniqueness evidence. This truly matters in context of this, but GDP is not the same as innovation, but our offense goes both ways because they drop Trump's economic policy hinders GDP as is, and we'll do that debate a little later. Now, remember, at the end of the debate, the climate impact that they read, climate change was not impact in the one you see. Nuclear war certainly was, which means you should err on the side of miscount. You know that we have time to resolve warming, and you know that the case turn means that innovation will happen, even if the economy goes down slightly. Nonetheless, our uniqueness for innovation is also uniqueness for the economy, which they failed to recognize in the 1AR, which means that your ballot story is very simple. We have a straight turn to the case. That means that their impact calculus does not matter if they do not win their links to their impacts. We are disputing the premise that they access these impacts in the first place, which means that if you think we're winning a larger risk of our turn because our evidence is one, on fire, and two, theirs is dog shit, then you should vote negative because we are so clearly ahead on the central questions of this debate. Finally, reject the evidence that they read about climate change causing extinction in the 1AR. One is that it says innovation is key regardless. We answer this with our overview. Two is that it's new, which causes late-breaking debates that favor them because they get to read new impacts, and we already read our one to see it showed our hand.
I forgot how much I have left. It's like 3 something?
It's 3:30. That down. Oh shit. Doesn't work. Plane.
It's try or die for capitalist reallocation of resources. Brown is double dropped, and they've agreed it's existential. That is one error. Taylor, you know that tipping point. We've already been past tipping points, which means it is the only scenario the only situation in which we can resolve climate change is through adaptation. They've dropped that that is key to adaptation, and this is not relying on innovation. There's multiple warrants in the 1 year and 1C evidence. Brown, which is dropped in the 1C. There's things like farming and natural adaptation, and things like labor. The evidence says that capitalist systems wages encourage people to move into sectors that are key for climate adaptation. Things like moving, things like farming and agriculture means that even though climate change should be existential through things like agriculture effects, adaptation prevents those worst effects. You know that it's existential because we've passed tipping points. Things like permafrost ensure that it will go on for an infinite loop unless we can adapt. Now, to only turn our answer here is that they will always. The Turner just kept saying that they'll get back to this, and they never did. The only answer was at the bottom of the Turner about how this is new. This is wrong. They've dropped Brown, which means that we can implicate the evidence. Even if you don't buy this, the Turner does not have a terminal for the scenario. The only thing it says is the words nuclear use. The 1AC Gale is about nuclear exchanges and first strikes of 4,000 weapons, which is obviously not what their scenario is. You know that it's existential because they've dropped the Taylor evidence. Now, I'll do the uniqueness and the link debate here. The Turner misses the boat on a lot of these issues. They've only focused on innovation, which means that even if they win their evidence, it does not indict the affirmative. It only matters for their scenario. They've dropped 2 warrants, which is prices and deadweight loss. We've not read Martinez, but the first piece of evidence we did read is sufficient on this. It says that cartels raise prices up to 15 to 50%, which individually to crush the economy. Now the second argument is about deadweight loss, which they also have not addressed. These are independent factors and should frame this. They've said that uniqueness frames the link. This is wrong. Uniqueness will always be a sliding scale because the economy can always be better or it can be worse, and innovation can be better or worse. But the link can only go one way. Independently, the uniqueness debate is clearly affirmative because the Turner only has indicators for innovation, but it does not indict the app because we've cited louder evidence. You can see in the prototype from the 1 year that is from the Federal Reserve and cites strong growth of 3%. When I see evidence only says individual things like labor, which is very cherry picked. Now, for their scenario, try or die is relevant. We have defense to the impact. They've dropped the warrant of immigration, which stumps the argument and is unquantifiable. Even if the Turner is right that we have no evidence for this, their evidence does not quantify the threshold, which means that you do not know when this happens. I'll answer the Crow evidence, but it's not necessary. The Crow and Martinez Crow and again index are wrong because even if they're about other countries, they cite trends that can be applied to all economies. Now they've also dropped the Moreau evidence, which is extended at the very bottom of the 1 year. It specifically projects our evidence and indexes theirs. It says that other studies like theirs have misunderstood the effects and have ignored the effects of spillovers besides the individual industries. Try or die for the app because they've conceded Brown, they've double dropped Brown and Taylor, which means it is try or die for adaptation. Their scenario is not existential, and uniqueness flips out.
I sent a card doc if that matters.
Do you guys need an half card doc?
Sure.
Sure.
Just for like that. Can I get a picture, Jason?
Sure.
My phone. You can send your card doc in a minute. I'm gonna go outside. Come here, bro. It's my homie. I've known him since he was in 7th grade.
You look so much cooler than me with the Barney.
Yeah, dude, you're lame for not dressing up. Just kidding. I love you, bro. I want my water. Sorry, it's really hot in here. I'm gonna go outside. We'll do a decision. That's all right.
Oh wait, I forgot one card. Okay, this is the right time.
Which one of you, 3 of you cleared at St. Mark's, right?
I did.
You did? You did?
I wasn't there.
Did
The
you?
one isn't here.
Congratulations. That's really good.
Who's the group? Meadows.
I was just gonna say, you had more people clear than quite a few. So awesome. Harvard. Harvard was it?
Thank you.
I'll go bring them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, one sec.
Are we supposed to give that out?
What?
The box?
Oh,
Sure. I think it's a
might be
Is
the
that
reward.
Alderani's job?
No? I don't know.
I that's definitely the belt, but is that Alderani's job or is that our job? Give it.
I don't know.
I feel like you brought it in here and put it down.
I think you give it.
I
Last
should
year,
get it?
well, I mean, if you want to. But last year, he just put it down and left, and they gave it to me.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Congrats on making clowns. Really, really impressive. Very, very good debate and close debate. But at the end of the day, it was a 2-1 decision for the negative from Peninsula.
We get out of the box, Kevin.
Okay, whatever. You can open it.
Thank you.
I sat, so I guess I'll go first. This was a really good round. It was an extremely hard decision to make. So for me, it came down to like the weighing. I voted F on the climate change scenario. I buy the try or die argument on Brown. I think it doesn't really get answered by the neg. I think this is further extended with the Taylor evidence, which I also feel is not like really answered by the neg. I feel like they're making this climate change adaptation arguments like time and time again, and it's just kind of being ignored. I think the AF is also doing enough work on the impact turn. I buy the argument they make about how developing countries can be used to cite trends. Probably others feel differently than me on that, but I think when we're like evaluating studies, yeah, we evaluate a bunch of countries, not every country, especially when it comes to research. So I buy the argument that like the USFG can be included in these studies about cartels. I think that their evidence still proves that cartels is bad for innovation because of this, even without the Martinez card. Also, the AF definitely needs to be more careful about their block reading next time. That was it.
You want to go next?
Oh yeah, I can go next. I voted neg on like the turn, I guess. I guess the main like reason is I bought the link story more. I thought the neg one that like innovation and growth are tied together. Like innovation is a side constraint on growth. And I think to vote AF, I would need more work on like how growth is not tied to innovation. I feel like when the 2AR is talking about how like adaptation is distinct, there's not enough work for how that's distinct from like if adaptation is tied to growth, but innovation is tied to growth as well, then the turn would just be true if they're winning like the thesis of it, and I think they are. I think they win that like quantitative studies are better, and this one's like more specific. So the next spin in the Kyman card would mean if cartels are good for innovation or good for growth. At that point, I think like there's a good chance that cartels solve growth, which means like there would still be adaptation, but also like it would avoid the risk of like this turn. So that's why I ended up voting neg.
Similar reasoning. I also vote neg on the turn. I just think like again the story here is better. You give me like same thing, pretty much like the exact same ballot. Only difference is sorry, Brit, I disagree with you. On the tipping points, I think that climate change was good. I just needed like more in-depth analysis in terms of like direct like leading to extinction, because the Taylor evidence doesn't explicitly say that. And on that end, I do agree it's try or die on neg's story and like their advocacy. So on that end, and like the Kang evidence, I think is like done relatively well and like executed. I think again that's a pretty good like reason to vote neg. But this was a very close debate, like very, very close. You should both be pretty proud of yourselves.
2AR, would it have been better if I went for diversionary war? Or like what would a winning 2AR look like?
I mean, I think either scenario is fine. There just needs to be more distinction, like more interaction with like the king card.
But like, is most of the issue stemming from the 1AR? Or like, just can the 2AR get back from this and then like just answer king?
I think like the 2AR, like I don't think after the 1AR the debate's like done. Like I think that like it just wasn't clear in the 2AR like why this is distinct from like the turn.
That makes sense. Yeah, any other comments for 1AR or 2AR?
I have nothing on
I'm good. I voted you.
Fine, anything?
Yes, you.
Oh, what was the question?
Yeah,
No, I was asking if you had any other 1AR or 2AR comments
Oh.
besides just this.
No.
Okay.
it. Good round.
Good run, Jason. Welcome back to Yacht, IB.
Congrats.
Well, we have to check in with Sue first to make sure. We're done.
Like when it first come out, went for like a non-degrowth pulse, really cool.
Policy.
Tim, am I gonna go home?
Jason, we'll win next year, almost certainly.
Super senior.
Yeah, he's been in debate longer than me.
Oh, Raphael Gary Strah. Wait, you gotta come back and repeat.
That doesn't sound alright.
Get held back.
It's not like damaging the car, but yeah, it's a big scratch all along the
Big
side.
scratch on the That might be the definition. Congratulations.
Yo, I think Jack left his.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Thank you. See you next weekend.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. You're welcome. Who's
Sterling. Jack's camera.
Oh, Jack's camera.
Yeah.
Recording.
Oh.
Did you stop?
No. Thank you.
Okay, stop the recording.